what we do in church. So I'm saying to say that if you have that inclination, and that's why I think that we don't have a lot of Christians who are doing business and who are doing a lot of things outside the church, because you have told them that the only work that they have to do is really what they do in church. That's a major thing. And I think that's why we still continue to have, for instance, politicians. We have a lot of people who can enter into politics who are Christians with good values, but we will not go there, because we think that is not the work of God. But I remember, I'm not a preacher though, but the things that I some people ask me, and once they ask me, I remember there was a time one of my the men that I work with, one of them, somebody came around and he was a preacher, and he said that, oh, God is using me here you, and so that when you become a preacher and do the work of God. And I nearly asked him, so what he's doing here is what? The work of the devil? It's not true. It's not true that much. It's not true. If you feel that God has called you into full-time church, no problem. But even the Apostle General himself was working. So I think that wherever God has gifted you, that's where you establish his kingdom. If God has gifted you to start a business and you have 10 people, those 10 people, you can affect them with your belief system, with your gospel, with the kindness, with the love, with the faith. Easier, than turning everybody to go and become a preacher just because you think that they are Christians. And I think that is an error, and it's a big error. And that's why a lot of people will not be effective in areas that they are not gifted to be, Because for you to become a preacher, you should have had the gift, the heart, the calling from God, the mandate to do that. Just as, the footballer has that gift, the passion, the engineering of his mind, his inclination, how he sees life. The same with the professor, or the same with the man at the lab who is being gifted by God to do what he's doing. Or the same is even with the guy who's been gifted to sing, or the one who has been gifted to write, or the one who has been gifted to become a farmer or a finance officer. God has gifted us differently. And so you should know what you've been gifted to do, and then do it well. And that becomes your service to God, So a lot of things have been confused by such teachings around, said that if you're not strong, they will make you feel like what you're doing is not even important, especially business people in churches. They can talk you out of your passion. They can talk you out of your gift. They can talk you out. How can you say, if Dangote were a Christian, for instance, how would you say that he should stop whatever he's doing and become a preacher, because you feel that that's the only way that he's serving his purpose? That's the only way he's serving his calling. I think that is an error, because there's a lot that he's doing to change. Just donating 100 million can change a lot of children's life. It can save a lot of people from. And that, for me, is a service to God, because the man himself said that as you have done for these ones, you have done for me. So those are the things that you would have to establish on purpose, because if you're a Christian, they will talk you out, especially if you're not doing something outside, if you're not doing something in the church, so to say, because there's a lot. If you're going to be very effective in what you're doing, it will require a lot of time. And you cannot separate your time everywhere. You can't separate your time here, and still think that you'll be able to build a very strong business. For instance, I learned a little keyboard, and I used to play in church. And along the line, I decided not to play again. Why? Because I couldn't see my future in that. I couldn't see my passion in that. I saw my passion in what I'm doing now. I saw myself as having wired to have the brain to do what I'm doing, and try to set a business, try to model some business concept. I felt that is what, if you look at the things that I've enjoyed, the things that I've gone through, I think that is where my passion is. That's where my calling is. That's where I'm gifted to do. So if I didn't stop the keyboard and I was going to put 4 hours, 5 hours every day in this, then it's likely that my business would suffer. and then I will not even have anything to prove in terms of the business itself, because the business will call for time. And so whatever that you are gifted to do, that thing will need a lot of time from you, a lot of resources, a lot of focus from you. And so if you share those things everywhere, you will not have impact. At least you should be able to succeed in one thing first, before, if you want to add any other thing to it, you add. And so if you're a believer, I think that that is what you would have to, because you can see somebody who has become so prominent in a particular field, and yet that person stops everything to go and take a position in church, and then you see that person's influence goes down. He's struggling to do what he's doing there, and the only reason he's there is because they told him that that's the only work of God that we have to do, I think. And that is why there's a lot of things that we have still not attended to, because if you're a doctor, for instance, and you're very good with what you're doing, and you're saving lives, you're doing a lot of operations, you're very good, people come there, you're able to talk to them nicely, you carry that presence of God there, so why should you stop that and just say and go and become a preacher just because they told you, not because you feel like you're called, just because they told you? And a lot of people have done that. And you see that your revelation in that which they think that they've been called to do is stagnant. And that's the first thing, that you are really out of place when you don't continue to grow in knowledge. Because the things that you are passionate to do, the things that you are gifted to do, the things that you are called to do, you see that your knowledge grows exponentially. You see that you are very passionate about it, and when you see somebody exhibit that, you are open up to help them to succeed in that field. It's a proof that God has gifted you there, and you should be comfortable to pursue that, and you should be comfortable to lift that, and you should not feel like it has nothing to do with God's kingdom. I mean, I'm talking to the Christians. If you're not a Christian, no problem. But if you're a Christian, that you should, because if you don't, then you always have that doubt that, are you in line with what you are meant to do? Are you in line? Are you in line? For me, it's as effective as any other, because if I build a TV station and I'm changing lives, or if I build school and I'm training children to become very good citizens and good people, that is the work of God. If I open a business and I employ people and have the opportunity to train them, to make them people, treat them with respect, treat them well, that is a work of God. If I'm working in the ministry, I'm a very good person, and I treat people well, and I'm able to deliver on time and everything, that is the work of God. That is the work of God. It's a work that you're doing for God, because you're doing it for men. And that's how countries develop, because they have that sense that what they are doing, they are not doing it for the devil. They are doing it for mankind, for God, so to say. So I think that a lot of people, so you see a lot of young boys who are trying to confuse Christianity with entrepreneurship. I think that they're separate. In terms of you feeling that you should still become some kind of a pastor to do the work of God. You can do your business and be a very good Christian. Your Christianity is seen in your love, in your faith, in your hope, in your passion, in your respect for people. That's where the Christianity is seen. It's not you just being in church and shouting and come back and do another thing which is wrong. That's not Christianity. Christianity is your passion for God and your passion for mankind. So I diverted into this because I think that I met that when we started. When we started, you would, they would say that become a preacher, become a pastor. And yet I saw that I want to start a business. I want to build a business. That is what I was passionate about. And I had to read a lot to build that stability in mind. Because it felt like you are off line. It felt like you are not serving God. It felt like you are off. And those who entered to become preachers will look down upon you. They'll look down upon you because they think that you are not doing what is required of you as a Christian. I don't think so. I think that we are gifted differently and we are wired differently. And this society needs a lot of people who can think in terms of business, in terms of entrepreneurship, and solve problems. So if you're telling every one of these young boys who have gone to school to become a preacher, and then you are praying for them to become rich, I don't understand it. Because how are you going to create the wealth which will fight this early death, children dying early, the poverty all around? Until you're able to create a successful society, a prosperous society, the diseases will continue. The malaria will continue. The prisons will still be choked. Bad schools will continue. Our lands will be taken by illegal people, because the citizens are waiting. And they think that the work of God is somewhere which is only in church. And so when you are doing business and you feel that you are gifted to do this, it's a service to God. Establish that. Because if you don't establish that, then you always have that continuous doubt of yourself. At least for a while. If you along the line you feel that you should do another thing, no problem. But you should not be coerced because you think that somebody said that this is not right. This is not right. Because whatever you're spending your time to do is really what you're becoming. So purpose at the personal level is important. You establish your purpose at the personal level. It makes you unique. It doesn't make you competitive. You are ready to help people, to be open up to people. You become a good person because you are comfortable with who you are. You know your gift. You know yourself. You know what you are gifted to do. You know that somebody else is not better than you. You know that you are not shortchanged. That sense of purpose is so critical into you becoming a good citizen of any country. And then you see that you understand that you are made by God to solve a problem. And that same thing that God made you, if you create a business, that business was also made to solve problems, just like that. And you understand that your understanding of the word is really where you are. You only understand the word based on your understanding of the word. It's not how really the word is. And so, and purpose is always linked to value for lives. Value for lives. There's nothing created in this world which is not linked to improving lives and in changing people. Nothing good which is created. So all these people who have created businesses, if you look at it, all the businesses that they have created one way or the other to give comfort to mankind. And so, sense of purpose, destiny, is linked to bringing value to people. You cannot walk in destiny or purpose when you are just about yourself. That's not purpose. Purpose really is to bring value. You are somebody's prayer answered. You are somebody's solution. So it's always linked to people. It's always linked to people. And you create a culture of business with that sense of purpose, with that sense that values people. That all your team should have that sense. And the more you have team members who have that sense of purpose, that sense of destiny, they know that this is what they have. And so when you are dealing with them, they know that I'm gifted in this and I'm passionate about this. It makes them live a meaningful life. And when you meet anybody living a meaningful life, you see that they put themselves in whatever they do. And that's how you get results from people. People don't give results because there's no sense of purpose. As a matter of fact, corruption is a proof. If you see a thief, it's a proof that person has no sense of purpose. And that's why if you become any leader of any country or any leader of any institution, if you are corrupt, it means that you don't have that sense of purpose. Because they put you there to lift the people up. So the cure to corruption, I think, is sense of purpose, sense of destiny, sense of calling. That is it. Because once you have that sense, you know that it has to bring value to people. It has to bring value to people, and that is how you become better all the time. And the business, just as at the personal level, you have that sense. You carry the same sense into creating business that adds value to people. And that business is linked to that passion that you have. Is linked to that gift that you have. At least it's linked to the way you see life, the help that you think that business is bringing to solve problems. That is how. And once you have that thing, you don't give up in doing the business because you know that this business is solving this particular problem. And it's solving it because you have created that business with that sense of mission, that sense of purpose, that sense of destiny, that sense of bringing value to people, and that's how businesses are built. And it's an extension of a person with that sense of purpose. Sometimes you may not have started with that sense of purpose. Sometimes you may not have started with that, but along the line, it will click you that you have to have that sense of purpose. It's just like human beings. Along the line, it will click you. It will click you that you cannot just live anyhow. Life is not just about livelihood and about money and getting a better project or better business or better job with better salary. That's not it. Beyond the money, there's a reason for life. And so all your decisions cannot just to get money. All your decisions are linked to purpose, destiny, value for life, value for people. And that's what separates top entrepreneurs from the other ones, And if you are finishing school, you call for that sense of purpose. You don't just make any decision because you have a good job or you have an offer. No, you should sit down and say, this is my gift, this is my passion, and this is what I want to do with my life. And so then the job just solves the financial problems, but not the destiny or the purpose or the calling problem. So there's a difference. There's the financial problem that you want to solve as a human being, which makes a lot of things go well for you because we trade with money. And then there is that sense of purpose, the meaning of your life, the calling of your life. That thing is also there. You don't confuse the two. But almost all the time, people make decisions just because of the money. And it's not true. The money is actually supposed to fuel the destiny, the purpose, which is supposed to bring value to people. So they are not two. They are not together. They're not together. They are separate. And that's why sometimes you can have that sense of purpose. And if you have not studied money, understood how it is made, your purpose will still struggle because the purpose is fuel with some level of money. But you don't confuse them. They are separate. They are separate. So the same with the business. The business is solving a particular problem, and out of that, the business can get revenue. But your understanding of the business of money and how it is created and how it is managed and how it is handled can kill the business or can grow the business. That's why you can see top businesses, they have excess revenue, but they are still solving problem. And sometimes their mind is beyond just the money, but the value that they are creating for their customers. And if you are bringing the value, then and you have proper financial knowledge, then you see that your financial growth will also peak. But the fact that you have sense of purpose and sense of destiny itself does not mean that you'll be able to succeed in what you're doing in terms of finances, because your understanding of finances and then your understanding of the destiny are different. Because you can have a very successful doctor who has developed maybe a procedure that can cure a lot of children or adults, but he has understand how he has to create the money without waiting for a grant from somebody to push that agenda that he's so passionate about. So he studied the procedure, but he didn't study how he would have to, the importance of the finances to push passion, to push that vision, to push that thing for it to spread. So the same with your business. Your business is solving a particular problem, but then your understanding of the finances will make sure that the business is able to spread to solve this problem, or will not be able to solve this problem. The same with even personal level. Your revenue or your salary you should be able to separate how you're managing your finances from your sense of destiny, your calling. They are not the same. They are not the same. So my name is Obindako, and tonight I'm discussing with you sense of purpose, sense of destiny, sense of mission. It separates you from the others. It makes you know that you are not a mistake. You are not born as a mistake. You were born by God to solve problems, And if you start a business, per chance, you carry that same sense of purpose into building a business that solves problems. And so if you're a person, that's why I don't get it when people say that they are desperate, they are finished school and they don't have a job. Yes, not having a job is just solving one particular problem, which is the finances. But the sense of destiny side, the purpose side, can still be realized without the finances, at least the identification of it. And if you're able to identify that thing, then you will find a way of getting the money anyway. So you being confused after school, it's not really that, it's not because you don't have a job, it's because you are not sure of yourself and what you are here to do with your life, you know. And so you solve that. It's more important than the course that you're doing. It is more important, unless the course is fueling that destiny that you have discovered, you know. Because then you can see people who have finished, gone through all this kind of education, but you can see that they're still trying to find themselves, because you don't find sense of purpose from school. School is supposed to fuel after you have found that sense of purpose, you know. So it's not like, oh, me, what do you want to become? I want to become a nurse. Do you have the inclination? Do you have the passion for people? What do you want to be in nursing? Oh, because when I finish school, I will get a job. No. What do you want to be? I want to become a lawyer. Why? Because, you know, people are becoming a lawyer. You should have a reason why you want to become a lawyer. You should have a reason why you want to become an engineer. You should have a reason why you want to become this. And it should link to your destiny, the way you see life, why you were created on this earth. They should have that link. They should have that link, or you'll be frustrated all your life. Because you don't have that sense of mission, that sense of purpose, that sense of uniqueness, why God made you the way he made you, you know. And that thing supersedes all the complexities of your background. The moment you identify purpose of your life, you get to understand all the complexities of your background, you know. And then you see that the complexities, for instance, there's a reason Africa was created. The moment we get to find why God created Africa, we see that all the complexities, we will understand them. There's a reason for Africa. There's a reason Ghana is Ghana. If we find it, we see that all the problems will fall in place and we'll be able to make meaning out of it. So there's a reason you create that business. If you just create that business because you want money, at a point you will get the money, but you will lose the passion for the business. And that's why you just treat people anyhow. You talk to customers anyhow. You talk to your workers anyhow. You are impatient. Your only agenda is to get the money, because the business has no sense of purpose. And so sense of purpose says it separates you from others. It makes you comfortable and it makes you at peace with yourself. It makes you resilient and robust to deal with the situations that come up, because you carry that uniqueness. You understand yourself, and you understand the business, and you understand that you were created here to solve problems, and those problems will be solved by you, and that's why you created a business, or that's why you are living as a person. So whenever any company employs you, you go with that sense that this is me, and this is what I am good at, and this is what I'm passionate about. And so if you're employing me, this is what. So you don't just even take any job anyhow, just because you want a job. You take a job because you also look at yourself and the value you are bringing to people, you know. Unless you're taking that job just to solve your financial, then perfect. But if you take the wrong job, opposite your personality, you see that you are frustrated. You're always complaining. You're always murmuring. You are fighting with everybody, because really you are not in sync with yourself. The moment you are in sync with yourself, you see that you're comfortable and you deliver, and you can be dependent. You can be trusted with a lot of responsibilities, and you see that you deliver them, because you come with that sense of mission to that position, you know. And it's not just about the money in that field. And the same with business. It's not just about the money, because you know that this business is solving this particular problem, you know. And a lot of your mistakes will come from the areas that you went in without that sense of purpose. A lot of your mistakes will come from that, you know. So wherever you are, whatever stage of your life you are, I think that you have to just look back and correct that, and at least start to understand yourself, that there's a reason you were made. There's a reason that God created you. And if you have created anything, any sense, any private project, anything that you are creating that because you want to solve problems. You want to be relevant. You want to help society with your gift, and you're endowed with that. And you see that people cannot easily talk you out of that. People cannot easily talk you out of that. Why? Because it's a call, it's destiny. Your mind sees. See, the guy who is gifted in a particular way, what people don't see, he sees. What doesn't interest people, he will go there. If, for instance, if you are gifted to be a real estate developer, when you are working with people and you go to any hotel or any structure, what you see will be different from the other guy who is gifted in, say, producing movies or producing another thing. Why? Because he sees differently, especially those who have technical understanding of it. Because sometimes your education may be opposite your passion, and that's why people get a lot of frustration, because he was trained in, say, in Greek engineering, but his passion is in acting. So now he has to practice as an Greek engineer. But whenever he sees movies, you see that he's talking about movie. He can see all the errors. I would say that you don't have to live that kind of frustration. Extract the skills that you had in Greek engineering, and then go into the production of the movie. Because you're gifted and it's in you, you will identify things. You come up with things that the people who have even been trained professionally, who were not gifted, will not see. That's why people who have been gifted to run business, you see that guy was not school, but he's able to build that business. Why? Because he was gifted and he found himself there. And so he was passionate. He could identify things that, because all the things that they teach us in school, they are people's discoveries. All the laws that they are teaching in school, they are people's discoveries. All the philosophy that they mentioned somebody's name and said that the law of thermodynamics, somebody discovered that. And it's likely that that person was not even an engineer. The first engineer did not even have a degree. Or the first movie actor did not even go to school. He was just establishing himself with his gift. And then the revelations started to come to him. So the areas that you see very passionate about may not necessarily be the areas that they even gave you education. But I will go with the area that I'm passionate and gifted in, because that's where your growth is. That's where your greatness is. It's not the area that they just gave you certificate without any passion, without any gift. Because then when you go there, you see that you labor, you drag yourself to go. You are in pain. You don't like it. And that will not make you succeed in that field. Can you imagine my case and becoming, say, a boxer? It's likely that he will not be a good boxer. It's likely that he will not be a good boxer. Why? Because he's gifted to play. So when he sees football, he moves differently. So same. So you can give him all the training in boxing, but you see that you are worrying the boy. You're worrying him. He will not be himself unless he's gifted, multi-gifted. Then maybe that's different. But so a lot of people are trained in areas that they don't have passion for. And if you are trained in an area that you don't have passion for, you don't stay there. You stay in the area that you are gifted. And once you are gifted there, you see that you make meaning out of that, and you start to push yourself to make meaning and change lives and solve problems and change destinies. And that's why you see people who've been called, people who have been called in a particular field. You see their passion. They bring value. They bring value to that field. They bring value. They are passionate. They want to change. They are not. The first sign of somebody who is not called in a particular field is selfishness. You see that they are just there because of self, because of their agenda. No, it means that you're not called there. You're not called there. The places that you've been called, you see that it's not safe. Even if they don't pay you, you don't even remember. Because you are wired. You work all the time. Work. And for us, sometimes we are working maybe 12 a.m. You are still working. You are checking things. Why? It's not because it's our business, but I think it's because we really like what we are doing. And that is a proof that we have some sense. We have some natural inclination. We have some natural gift in doing this that we are doing. And so when people are saying, when are you going to take vacation? When are you going to rest? The rest is in the work. Why? Because we are not dragging ourselves doing this. God wired us that way. So the rest is in the work. We are doing it. So when you just want to go, you're waiting for Friday to go and party, it's likely that you are out of purpose. Thank God it's Friday. You are thanking God it's Friday. No, we don't thank God it's Friday. We work on the Friday. We are in it. We are passionate about it. We are working. And that's why we become strong and effective. So if you're waiting for Friday to come so that you will not go to work, you're in a bad job. You don't like what you're doing. And you'll never be great in that. You'll never be great. Forget what they tell you. You'll never be great. You are just there because of the salary. That's why you are not bringing any innovation in that position. That's why you're not bringing any job. You're not bringing any product. You're not bringing any lead. Because you're not passionate about it. You are not gifted to be there. You are not supposed to be there. Somebody else is supposed to be there. And those who are supposed to be there, when you see them, when you see them, you will see that they are really called to be there, because they are bringing solutions all the time. They are bringing solutions all the time. And so, if you're working in places that you are spending your life, and you are spending your life anyway, so you might as well spend the life in ways that you are passionate, you are gifted to do, you are bringing value, you are creating, you are shaping lives there, So for me, that is a sense of purpose. And sense of purpose is linked to whatever God has gifted you to be. And it's so critical that you do that yourself, You find it yourself. You find it. You don't let the school find it for you. You can never find your destiny or your sense of purpose or what you are gifted to do or what you were called to do on this earth from school. School would only throw a light on your gift. School will not find your gift. It's your duty to find it yourself. And when you see people who are really called to be in those positions, you will see they are the changers. They change destinies. They bring serious shift. They bring value. They create opportunities for people because they were called to be there. So, my name is Kwabena. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much. I am grateful for watching. Thank you. Good night.